don't come to this lake expecting anything massive, but you can expect some screaming takes and some absolute scaly bangers, like this little fella here. Stunning little fish. Put up a good scrap, took me straight into the pads, but we got him out, and just look at him. Absolutely lovely. Right, we'll get the rods back out. I'm going to move them both onto that spot. We're just from a bed of lily pads, so I know they're always about there. I'm going to move both rods onto that spot now and see if we can get something going. So I just went from a really good start and hooking into a fish within the first 10-15 minutes to a really bad start and losing it in the pads. That is obviously the problem with fishing in the pads. Just as soon as I picked up into it, it was locked up. Didn't once feel it tug, so I think it just, I don't know, spat it straight into a lily root or something, and it was just locked up to the point where I actually ended up snapping off, which is never good. It's not what you want, but that's fishing. Can't land them all. Should probably do a bit of an introduction really. So this video is going to be 3, maybe 4 sessions spread across a week, all on the same water, and it's the same water as in my first video on the channel. If you've seen that video, it's a lovely little day ticket water. It's mainly a match fishing water, to be honest. That's why you see all these sort of lines that go across the top, anti-cormorant lines, because a lot of people pole fish this pond. But there are some lovely carp to go at. Nothing massive, but it doesn't matter really. They, as you just saw, they scream off. They scrap like anything. And there is a few, well, quite a lot of gems in here in terms of like nice little, you know, scalies. So I like to think of it as a nice little confidence boosting lake. You know, if you've not perhaps been doing so well elsewhere, it's quite good for just coming down and nicking a bite, as you saw. What am I doing? As I was saying, it's quite a good lake for nicking a bite. Lovely fish, decent size for in here. Of course I'll show you in a minute, but currently got no rods fishing at the minute, so I'm going to get my rods back out first. And it's not just a case of just putting a bait on and chucking them back out either. I've got to retie this rig, got to tie on a new heli system onto the one that just caught that fish on because he's demolished it, and I was only halfway through tying on a heli onto the other one that snapped off. But I'm not too gutted now, now that we've landed one. Hooks need sharpening a lot. Things we go through. Can see it happening again though as well. So, I mean, all of this has happened within 30-40 minutes of me being here, so still got plenty of time. There's still fish in both the spots. I can see the pads moving and tail whirls because it's a bit shallower water. So, tell you what, these pop-ups, obviously from Vortex Baits, banana, pineapple and cinnamon, been doing the trick. They have. We are ready to rock and roll. Let's go. I'll be honest, I can't remember what I was even saying anymore, so we'll just have a look at that fish and just get to more fishing. Here he is then. It's a good fish for this lake, £14. Makes up for the one I lost. But I do feel confident in another bite though, still seeing fish showing over my spots. So that's why I'm not going to talk about this one too much, because I can see that rod going any minute. Fingers crossed anyway. But yeah, lovely fish. Get some photos, get him back, see if we can do anything else. Another lovely little common. So I didn't get the take on camera for this one because it wasn't on the pod. Saw some swirling right close to the margins, so just chucked 10 or 15 boilies over it and placed the rod in the margin. Chucked a nice little match the hatch pop up on it on a combi rig, and just saw a massive splash. Heard the clutch absolutely peeling off and had this guy on the end, so happy with that. Been a good session so far. I reckon there might be time for one more, but we'll just have to see. Yeah, we'll get some pictures and put him back. Lovely stuff. Been a good session so far. Bites wise, 2 landed, and I've lost 2 as well actually. So the first one, obviously that I lost in the pads, and then between that last fish and now, just as I was resetting the other rod to in a different margin spot, I had another take. For whatever reason, picked up into it and it just went slack. So I did feel the hook point a little bit. It wasn't as sharp as I would like, so I just gave it a quick sharpen, chucked it out to a similar spot, fairly close by. Just another handful of boilies over the top. So we'll see what that does. I look forward to seeing if anything else might happen. First of all, I'd like to apologise if there's a lot of wind. It is much windier today than it was the other day, which kind of brings me on to my first couple of points about this session, is that the conditions are slightly different to when I fished the other day. First of all, it is much windier, and it's a northeasterly, so not the best wind for carp fishing. And also the other day it was a full moon, which supposedly does have an effect also on carp fishing and makes it a bit more prolific. So I don't think there'll be as many chances today as there were the other day. But that also brings me on to our next point about how important it is to be prepared for every session, really. Last session I had 5 runs and only caught 2 fish, which isn't great. I know that, and there were some things I did wrong. First of all, my hooks weren't as sharp as they could have been, which does play a massive part in fishing. But I'm sure, just like everyone at some point in their carp fishing, you just use a rig that you've caught fish on before, that you've cast out many times, and it's just not going to be as sharp as it could be, which can obviously affect how many fish you actually hook when they pick the bait up. On top of all of that, I was only using 1.5 ounce leads, so with those hooks not being so sharp, those leads weren't heavy enough to really pull it down into its mouth and get, a good enough hook hold. So they're the changes I've made today. I'm using 2 ounce leads, which isn't a massive difference, but that on top of me using now fresh rigs with not just packet sharp hooks, but hooks that I've sharpened a little bit as well. Hopefully now, if anything picks it up, that should just nail it right into its mouth and get a perfect hook hold. So my main point is that if I took those precautions the other day when the conditions were absolutely bang on, I could have landed 5 rather than just the 2. I don't think I'm going to get as many chances today, but hopefully I'll be able to catch 1 or 2, and they'll be perfectly nailed. And this video is a learning curve for myself, but hopefully you'll learn from it as well, that it is important to be prepared on those sessions where you really can increase your catch rate. So we'll see if those changes make a difference, and hopefully I'll have a fish to show you soon. Here he is, the redemption fish. Lovely little common. Well, not too little. Got a right belly on him. Definitely been feeding. Not much to say about him. Otherwise, he was nailed. So like I say, he was nailed. I'm going to put him back now though. I've got another one in the net. Nowhere near as big, and that's why it actually screamed off the way it did, whether you heard that or not. So this session's going great so far. We're getting back. I'll show you the next one. Like I say, he's nowhere near as big. He's a little stocky, angry male by the looks of it. But funnily enough, the biggest take I've had, absolute screamer. I'm sure you probably heard it. That was on the rod that caught that first fish. It'd been in the water about 3 minutes. We've got this little fella out. Not much more to say about him. Let's get him. Well, I wondered why I struggled to peel any line, and this is why. A little tench. Well, not so little for a tench, I guess. It's probably one of the bigger ones in here, to be honest. There is some decent tench, and this is 3 or 4 pounds, 3 pounds. But yeah, lovely little fish. Nice way to mix things up a little bit. I thought it would be a smaller fish, which made me think it could be one of the scaly commons, but there you go. Still very welcome. Don't mind catching tench because they put up a scrap. But yeah, very welcome fish. Let's get him back. The sun is starting to set, so that's the end of my session today. I've decided I'm going to come down in a couple of days. I'm going to bring my little brother with me since it's fishing so well, and I can almost guarantee him a fish, and he's always wanted to catch one, so I'm going to bring him with me on Friday, see if we can add to the tally of fish for this video. Because let's face it, that's what you come here to see is the fish. But I'm going to get packed up for now, and I'll see you again on day 4. So unfortunately I've had no luck on my 4th and final session for the video. The weather has been quite different, it dropped a bit colder, the northern wind, and I could tell after really sort of the first hour of not catching anything, I did think that would be how it would go. But it can't always be as prolific as it has been, and had some good action at the earlier part of the week, so I can't complain at that. Thank you for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.